back to Off the Grid in All Power Rangers podcasts, and welcome to the podcast if it's your very first time. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and if you haven't heard, if you don't know by the title or what I just said, this is an All Power Rangers podcast where we talk about movies, comics, the television show, obviously, toys, everything having to do with Power Rangers. And I will say, anyone who's listened to this show before knows that I grew up during the Mighty Morphin era. That was my era, going into Zeo, going into Turbo, and eventually in space and stuff like that. That's when I was a kid. So forgive me if that's the stuff that I love. I have a deep appreciation for all the Power Rangers mythology, and I'm on my journey to watching all the shows from beginning to end, and I'm going to always give my thoughts on those and be honest. But I did grow up in a certain era, so you can't blame me there. Anyways, haven't done a show for like a month, 3 weeks, whatever the case may be. If you watched previous episodes, you know my background was different. I'm moving, or I'm in the process of moving. I've already moved. I'm unpacking. This is not going to be my final background. This is just something I'm working with today, but I will have background set up. Not that anybody really cares anyway. But the biggest thing going on this week, I mean, there's tons of Power Ranger stuff I need to catch up on, stuff I need to talk about, but freaking Power Morphicon is this week. I'm going this weekend. My first Power Morphicon ever. The first Power Morphicon where Hasbro is part of the brand, where Hasbro is the ones who are kind of behind the whole thing. Even though they weren't here to start, they weren't here at the beginning of the planning for this Power Morphicon, I have a feeling they're going to have a big presence there. So I'm super excited, because a lot of people were saying, who knows if this is the last Power Morphicon. I doubt it, but you never know. They only do it every other year, so I'm so glad I'm going to this one. And there's so much hype right now among Power Ranger fans with Lord Draken in the comics, and with the Beast Morpher show coming out soon, and with the possibility of what could be coming with the movies and Hasbro and the toys and all that. Couldn't be a better time for me to go to Power Morphicon. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm going to try to get as much pictures and footage, maybe shoot some footage down there while I can. And share it with the podcast when I get back. Can't wait. I'm super excited, like I said. So things that I've missed since I last did a podcast. Go Power Rangers number 12. Obviously, I think that was last week. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 29, like 2 weeks before that, or a week before that. And recent Power Ranger news for movies going back and forth possibly. So let's jump into first the Ranger news section, where we talk about news within the TV show, the movies, the toys, the comics, whatever it may be. And the biggest thing going around right now is there was a report, or a rumor I should say, based off a report from, I believe it was a Toy Expo or something like that, kind of setting the rumor that Hasbro is working with another movie studio to make a direct sequel to the 2017 Power Rangers movie. I am torn on this, because I absolutely love that movie. Because just for what it is, and how they developed those characters and treated it with such care. And that's a big shout out to the director, Dean Israelite, because that was a lot of him, but it was also just a lot of the people behind it. And I appreciate that movie for what it was, and I really love it. It's not a great film, in my opinion, but I love it because I'm a Power Rangers fan. So I would love to see a sequel to it, but at the same time, there's some things they did that I really wish we could redo, like the Goldar character, like the costumes. The costumes aren't bad, but you can do a modernized version of the original Power Ranger costumes from the 1993 TV show and make it look really cool. Make it look like armor, but pretty much almost identical to what the original MMPR costumes look like. And that's what I want. There's ways to get around that. They could still make a sequel and still fix those things. You could get Goldar right somehow. You can kind of retcon some of the things that was with Goldar. You can come up with some type of way to make their suits look different. You could say their suits evolve. They have the ability to like shapeshift their suits, whatever the case may be. There's ways to fix my problem. So I would love to see a sequel to the Power Rangers movie. Anyway, Hasbro has came out and put out a statement regarding those rumors, and they said, "We see tremendous potential for the Power Rangers franchise around our entire brand blueprint, including feature films. We have nothing specific to announce at this time, but please stay tuned for future news and updates around the Power Rangers brand." So, that, not much to take from that. This is pretty much the same exact thing they said when they bought the brand in the first place. They said the same exact thing. Like, we see extreme potential in it, so on and so forth. So nothing has changed really, other than maybe that report was hinting towards something. I have a theory. Now, we know, obviously, that Power Morphicon is coming up soon. Power Morphicon, which I'm going to be at. And there is a Power Rangers 2017 movie panel on Sunday. I believe it's at 12 p.m. And I'm torn because I want to go to that. The comics panel's at the same time on the same day. So I'm like, what do I do? And I'm only going Sunday. So I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to go to the movie panel because of this. I have a theory that Hasbro, if they're going to announce a movie, they're going to do it at Power Morphicon with the Power Rangers fans there. And how perfect is that? It comes out in the trades. Oh, Power Rangers sequel announced at the Power Rangers convention, like the biggest Power Rangers convention in the United States that I know of. I mean, I'm assuming it's the biggest one. So how perfect would that be? That's almost poetic in a way. I mean, it is poetic. So I think that would be great. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. If they were going to announce a movie, that's the best place, the best way to do it. I forget, why can't I remember his name right now? I know his name. The Power Ranger the Blue Ranger, Power Rangers 2017. Sorry, excuse me, I'm looking up his name because I can't believe I can't remember his name. What's his name? RJ Cyler, of course. RJ Cyler is going to be at Power Morphicon. He's going to be at that panel. So I think there's a high possibility. And everybody loved Billy in that movie and RJ Cyler's performance as Billy. I think there's a high possibility they announce a sequel there. If they're going to do a sequel. That's my theory. That's what I'm going with. Another reason why I'm super excited about Power Morphicon. Now, if I didn't think that there was a possibility that they were going to announce a sequel, and if RJ Cyler wasn't going to be there, I would probably go to the comics panel for sure. But if they do announce the movie, I have to be there for that moment. I have to. So I don't think, if I had to bet $50 on it, I wouldn't say that that's what they're going to do. But if I have to bet $5 on it, I'd throw $5 and bet on that that's what they're going to do. I can't wait. I'm super excited for Power Morphicon. Not only just going, but I get my Lord Draken Legacy figure, which I paid $50 for. I'll probably buy another one while I'm there if they're available. I'm probably going to spend so much money while I'm there, but who cares? I mean, like I said, my first time going, who knows if they're going to do another one. Anyways, let's catch up on some stuff, some comics, what I mainly have talked about on this podcast the whole time I've been doing it. And we're going to talk about Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 29 from Boom Comics. This issue was like 2-3 weeks ago. I had to look it up again and open it up and check it out and remind myself of what happened. I really like this issue for multiple reasons. And one thing, when you have these big event comics, like, you have to kind of balance it, and you have so much going on, so many characters, you have to balance it, and I thought they did a pretty good job of that. They opened it up, they showed all the Rangers who have been captured, they're locked up, they're not all dead. They showed TJ from Power Rangers in Space in there, one of my favorite characters, so that was pretty cool. They also showed, so the regular team, Jason and the gang, are hanging out in a pocket dimension where Dracon can't find them. I think that's pretty clever. I mean, that's not genius level idea, but it's pretty cool to think of that, because Dracon is attacking everywhere, so you got to be prepared for that. And obviously we know that he's trying to, he's destroying the Morphin Grid. He's trying to become one with the Morphin Grid or whatever he's doing. And they have to go destroy that tower, so they got a plan to go do that. Andros crash lands there and shows up. I recently just finished Power Rangers in Space, and I freaking love it so much. Andros is one of my favorite characters now. TJ is one of my favorite characters. I mean, I know TJ was in Turbo as well, but I really started liking him in Space. I thought that was really cool to see Andros, because we saw in the annual that the trial of Astronema, where Andros shows up to help her, but that was in the future compared to where he's at here. He doesn't know that Corone is Astronema. Spoilers if you haven't seen Power Rangers in Space. But I just love seeing those characters together, seeing them interact. She revealed to him who she is, blah blah blah. That was great. And wow, this was crazy. So we go back to the coinless world where Draken is, and we know that the Skull in that world infiltrated Draken's army, became one of his soldiers, and was really on the side of the coinless. And Draken finally confronts him for doing that, and he straight up snaps his neck. Like, oh my goodness. It's not like they show it like step for step what happens, but they make sure you know that his neck was snapped. And I'm like, whoa, there's kids reading this, but I think the comics are teen, because there's a lot of stuff in here, like Draken stabbing Rita and stuff like that. So I just love how dark these comics are, compared to just other Power Ranger stuff. Like, so damn dark. Dark isn't always good, but the darkness of these comics brings a certain edge to it, first of all, and it makes it okay for adults to read. People might be like, oh, you're reading Power Rangers comics? That's silly. Those are for kids. Read the comic and tell me that it's just for kids. Like, that's ridiculous if you actually read the comic. So that's another example. Seeing Draken snap Skull's neck, the Coinless World School, that was insane to me. Like, I couldn't believe I was watching that. And then we see Draken and, what's his name? Little, alpha guy. I can't think of his name right now. Finster 5, duh. Him and Draken go and they communicate with Ranger Slayer, who's interacting with the Go-Go Power Rangers. And that was a really cool connection to Go-Go number 11. I thought that worked out fantastically. Like, we haven't seen many like direct connections like that, where like we see a scene from one end that connects to a scene from another end. I guess I should say a page or whatever. But I thought that was really, really, really cool. Another big part of this is seeing Commander Kruger and Zordon kind of interacting and talking about loss, and also seeing Jason and Grace put aside their differences. And then the big moment at the end where you see Zordon and Commander Kruger go to ask Rita for help, which is really cool. I've been seeing a lot of things coming from far away when reading these comics, but that's something I didn't see. I didn't see them going to seek Rita's help, which was something pretty crazy, honestly. And I'm trying to think at this point, where are they at with Rita at this point? I can't remember where they left off before all the Shattered Grids started coming along, but she's still there. And even though it's a different Rita, what better person to kind of, help fight Lord Draken than the one who made Lord Draken? Like, even though it's a different one, she has the mindset to do it. And we're going to talk about Go-Go number 12, but like, timelines are changing because of the events of Shattered Grid, obviously, but like direct timelines that are going to reflect the Rangers at the Go-Go era going forward. I love this stuff. It's so cool what they're doing right now. So let's go ahead and jump into Go-Go number 12. Man, first of all, that cover's amazing. It's not the full cover, but that's part of the cover, and that cover is amazing. And I don't know, like, Go-Go is almost just as good as the Mighty Morphin Power line right now. Because the Mighty Morphin, they're all Shattered Grid, but you get the majority of Shattered Grid stuff in the Mighty Morphin stuff. So it's been so good, but this go-go stuff is really, really good. And the opening with Ranger Slayer infiltrating Draken's throne room, oh my goodness, this character right here, she is becoming a favorite of mine. Like, these comics have created so many original characters that are amazing. Like Draken, of course, Ranger Slayer, the Skull character from the Coinless world is a great character. Matt is a phenomenal character. We're going to talk about Matt here in a second. I love the Matt character. Just the idea of him and him as a character is amazing. And we got a little bit of Jason and his family. They've been peppering this in there, and it seems like there's something bigger coming because of it. And I think that it's really cool, even if it's just there to give Jason some depth. Like, he's a hard butt, and he is like having issues leading his team and stuff like that. But I think that Jason's development here and having him dealing with family issues only adds to the character. And then, so I'm assuming like the beginning when Ranger Slayer is attacking Lord Draken's throne room, that it's like a flash forward, and then we cut back to what happened in the Go-Go world, and it shows Kimberly confronting Ranger Slayer, and she's like, come on, I'm going to beat you, knock you out. You might as well go join the team and help fight these monsters. So they got to fight some more monsters, and Ranger Slayer sends her Zord, the Grave Zord, and they've formed the freaking Grave Megazord. That was awesome. Even though it's like reminds me of, it's not, I know they're not selling, like making toys off of everything that shows up in these comics, just like they used to do with the TV show, but it reminds me of how like every like 10 episodes we would have a new Zord, a new iteration of the Megazord in Mighty Morphin and like all the other shows. Like it reminded me of that a little bit, but I loved seeing this Grave Megazord. I thought it was freaking incredible. Which kind of, I'm backtracking a little bit, but before she sends the Grave Zord to go help, she confronts Matt. And so we know Ranger Slayer had her own Matt in her world, who I think she was romantically involved with, who passed away. So now she's like freaking out when she sees Matt, and she's like, look, I didn't get the chance to tell you the truth before, and I'm telling you the truth now. And we know this is big because Matt has a huge involvement. He thinks he's destined to be part of this whole thing, whatever's going on with the Power Rangers. And she tells him, we don't see it, but what happens later confirms it, that she tells him the truth about who she is, about who the Power Rangers are. And that's going to make up for some crazy stuff. So I have a prediction regarding Matt, and I've talked about this before, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about this, but I have a prediction for Matt, and I'm going to talk about it in a second once I get to like the end over here. But now here's a thing. So sometimes I'm confused reading these comics. Like I know a lot about Power Rangers, but I don't get what's going on sometimes. So when Ranger Slayer shows up to confront Tommy, I'm assuming that's in like real time with the Go-Go Power Rangers. What does she do to him? I thought she was going to kill him. She shoots an arrow at him, but she doesn't kill him. She does something to him, like makes him not evil. I don't know what that arrow did to him. And I'm not a big fan of things that are like, oh, leave it up to interpretation. What do you think happened? That works in some scenarios, but I don't particularly like that when that happens. And that's what they did with this. And I don't know. We'll find out. We're going to find out. They didn't do that, and we're never going to explore it again. We're going to find out what she did there. But I'm just a little bit confused. It's going to have an effect on something. And also when Grace shows up to talk to Ranger Slayer, I'm just a little bit confused how it got from there to from that point to Ranger Slayer attacking Lord Draken. Like, it's just a little bit confusing there, but I'm sure it'll all clear up in the next couple of issues. So now these last two big things, we see Rita saying, look, because her monsters got defeated by the Grave Megazord, Mega Grave Zord, whatever it's called. And she's like, all right, I can't defeat these Rangers with my normal monsters. I'm going to do something I swore I never would do. I'm assuming, because at this point we haven't seen Tommy. In their world, they never met Tommy. We haven't seen a Green Ranger. Now, I believe Rita's referring to taking the green power coin and giving it to somebody to fight the Rangers. And I think, first of all, I think they're going to reveal in this mythology that Rita really used to be a Green Power Ranger. They never said that she wasn't in the show, and how did she get the Green Power Coin? So I think that all makes perfect sense, just like they did in the 2017 movie, which was something I really loved about that movie, was making Rita the old Green Ranger. I think that makes the most sense in the mythology, period, because she has it, and she wants to pass it on to somebody in order to fight these Rangers. So I think this is the beginning of Rita looking for somebody to take on the Green Ranger mantle and fight the Power Rangers. Now, we saw Ranger Slayer go visit Tommy. This is my big prediction, and this all ties in. Rita's thing, Ranger Slayer going to see Tommy, Matt confronting the Rangers at the end, and then he says, I know your secret, just somebody say it. And he's upset, and the Rangers are looking away. They're upset as well. They're obviously hurt that they can't tell their friend this. And Matt is on the path to becoming evil, in my opinion. And it's a great storyline because they've set it up so well. It didn't come out of nowhere. He was traumatized. I mean, he was kind of faking it a little bit, I guess, but he was kind of traumatized by getting kidnapped by Rita, right? And so that was the start of it. He came back, his friends are ignoring him and stuff like that. And now he found out he's being lied to by his friends, his best friends, his ex-girlfriend, the girl who says she loves him and stuff like that. And he's being lied to. This has been the path of potentially great villain. It's not a fast turn. It's not like, oh, he became evil out of nowhere. He has reason to potentially go down a dark path, and they've set it up so well. Now, we know Rita is going to be... we assume that Rita is referring to finding a Green Ranger. So now she's on the look for a Green Ranger if that's what she's referring to. Also, Ranger Slayer went to go see Tommy. This is what I'm thinking. So Ranger Slayer set Tommy on the path not to become the Green Ranger anymore, not to become evil, which in turn is helping him not become the evil Ranger at first. Unless she's visiting Tommy from her world, but back in time. That's always the case. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing. But either way, even if you take that out, take out her going to visit Tommy. We know Matt is on the path to possibly a dark path. Rita is looking for a Green Ranger. I've said this before. I said if you can find a way to have the Green Ranger and the White Ranger around at the same time, you bring in Matt, you have Rita give Matt the Green Power Coin. He has a reason to dislike the Rangers, and now you don't have to do it to where he's brainwashed. He willingly wants to go after the Rangers. He felt like he's been a part of this. He has a personal reason to want to go after them. I think that is so great. And then you can bring Tommy in and have him just go straight to being the White Ranger, and now you have the Green and the White around at the same time. I think that is so awesome because even though the White Ranger is awesome, the thing with the White Ranger is we lost the Green Ranger to get the White Ranger in the original show. If you do something like this in the comics, you can have both. And I think Matt is the perfect character to do that with. And that's my theory. That's why I love this issue. That's why I love these comics overall. I'm so excited just overall where this can go. We'll see if I'm right. That's going to do it for Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. Thank you all for watching. Now, I'm going to be in Power Morphicon, like I said. Let me know in the comment section if you're going to be at Power Morphicon. That would be so cool. Maybe we can go say hi or something like that. Also, let me know what you think of the potential of them announcing a Power Rangers sequel to this 2017 film. Do you think they're going to announce that at Power Morphicon? Do you think they're going to make just a total reboot? Also, what did you think of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 29? I thought it was very solid. What did you think of Go Go number 12? It obviously got my gears turning. Like, it got me so excited about the possibilities. I want to hear all your thoughts. Thank you for watching again. I am Jacob Bartley. I'm your host of Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like all things Power Rangers and if you like other comic book stuff, which I'm going to once I get my whole setup going in here and everything like that, I'm gonna start shooting more content outside of Power Rangers. But for now, I'm really heavily focused on the Power Rangers stuff. Subscribe if you like Power Rangers too. Thanks again. Until next time, may the power protect you.